Hello, hello. It is a couple of days early, actually, today for me to be doing my May record haul, but I'm pretty confident that I'm not getting any more records this month. There is only one album that I have on pre order that has not been shipped yet. It's scheduled to ship in June, and so I feel like I can go ahead and do this one. May is a month where I got a lot of records, but May is also my birthday month, so that kind of explains some of that. Yeah, let's just jump right in. I'm pretty excited about the records I got this month. There's a wide variety. So, starting out, one album I pre-ordered was American Football. This is LP4, and you can see I've got the split red and white. This was, I believe, Brooklyn Vegan pre-order. I think I pre-ordered this from Brooklyn Vegan. American Football, if you're not familiar with them, most people have heard of them maybe, or you've seen, the American Football logo that way, but important Midwest emo band, LP1, especially the song Never Meant is pretty it's kind of everywhere, and a lot of bands are influenced by them. But I really had not listened to much beyond LP1, and so I've gone back and I've been listening since then. I definitely plan to pick up at least LP3 as well because it's got Haley Williams on it. And I've liked what I've heard, but I do really enjoy LP4, so if you're looking for some good Midwest emo, that's a great way to go. Next one, this was a birthday gift from my mother. She gave me money to spend, so I went to my favorite record store, which I've talked about a million times here, which is St. Marie Records in Fort Worth, Texas. And I just shopped, instead of going and pre-ordering or any. I wanted to just go and look through the stacks and find something that I was interested in, or look through the bins. So I picked up Beck Guerrero. This album is one it's just plain black vinyl. This album is one that I listened to a lot when I was working at Starbucks. We sold this album when I worked at Starbucks back in the day, forever ago. And I loved this album, and I didn't have any Beck at all in my collection, which felt like, like it was missing something, like it needed something. There's still at least one other Beck album that I'd really like to pick up. Gotta have the album with Loser, right? But this album is really a phenomenal album, and I'm so glad to have it in my collection. So now we're going to get into some other birthday gifts. These are a couple of birthday gifts from my kids, my children, and my wife. So my son, he picked up for me the last studio album by this artist that I did not have. I'll say this. The last studio album. Well, let me show it to you first and then talk about it. Let's do that. So it's Michael Jackson. It's Invincible. It's a double LP picture disc. And I put them in different sleeves just to protect them from this sort of PVC, but it's really basically the same picture in 4 different colors. This was from my son, and recently we've been talking more about Michael Jackson because we were planning on going to see the movie for my wife's birthday. It got postponed a little bit. We just went last week, and it was phenomenal. I grew up, Michael Jackson was the first album I ever owned. It was Michael Jackson Thriller was the first album I ever owned, and I loved it so much. I've been a big Michael Jackson fan. But to be fair, I'd say that I really was, off the wall, Thriller, bad, maybe into Dangerous, and then I kind of fell off a little bit, and so I've been kind of going and listening to a lot of his other catalog, and while I do think that the albums that I grew up on are his strongest albums, I definitely think that there's at least a couple of tracks off of each album that are really great and deserve attention. Lots of tracks on each album that are really great and deserve attention. So I've been picking up all the studio albums over the course of my record collecting, and I owned all of his studio albums after he left Motown, all of his solo studio albums after he left Motown, except for Invincible. Now, there are a couple of albums that were posthumous that I don't own, and I may choose to get those later, but I don't think they're any stronger than the albums that he put out while he was alive. In many cases, they're much weaker. So I'm very pleased to have these albums. And this one was from my son because he knew how much I love records and I love Michael Jackson. So it was a really nice pick from him. My daughter did not get me an album, but I want to make sure that you guys know that she got me a really great gift as well. She got me a really great new Bible. I've been struggling for the last couple of years with some arthritis in my hand, which I did not expect to experience as like a 40-something-year-old. And so I needed like a really nice Bible that was not so thick, not so heavy, that was easier to carry around. And she got me this really great one that I love so much. So. My wife, for my birthday, picked me up this album, which was on one of my lists. This is Bossa Nova, Big Band Bossa Nova by Quincy Jones and his orchestra. I've been on a little bit of a Bossa Nova kick. I just love the genre, the style so much, and I find it so relaxing to listen to. To some people, it may feel a little bit like elevator music, but to me, it just feels like vacation in a way. And so I kind of created a list on Amazon of all the like most important Bossa Nova albums. I did some research. This was one of the ones that was on there, but I didn't know much about it. And as soon as I got it and I put it on, it was like, oh, like literally the first track is from Austin Powers. Like I heard it all over Austin Powers. So it was just kind of funny to make that connection. But this is a great album, black vinyl. Cool to get some Bossa Nova that's like from an American. Although, obviously, I really like Stan Getz and Antonio Carlos Jobim and, people like that who were putting out some phenomenal Bossa Nova music. It was just kind of neat to get something that's not, like, right in that one specific lane. So, yeah, really enjoyed that. Okay, now the next couple of albums. Oh, this was a pre-order as well. So, Casey Musgraves... Middle of Nowhere. This is the Magnolia Records Club exclusive. If I'm going to be honest, I think it looked better in the mock-up than it does in person, but I still really love this pressing. I don't know if you can see. It's so hard to really get the details on camera of the pressing, but it is just this really beautiful kind of almost turquoisey blue pressing. And so I really love the color of it. This album is phenomenal. It's so good, top to bottom, and it's definitely one I'll listen to a lot. If you've heard the lead single off of this, Dry Spell, I definitely want to highlight that some of the lyrical content is quite mature, but it's a fun album. So, okay, so now I've got, let's see. Yeah, these next three albums are so exciting to talk about because they're three albums that I've like desperately wanted on vinyl since I started collecting. Two of them have been like for sure, like I knew I was going to buy them one day, but the only pressings that were available were older pressings. It was a lot of money and they got repressed. And so I had to jump on it immediately for these records. So they're in the order that I received them in. So let's jump in. The first one is Eve 6 self-titled album. This is a Music on Vinyl pressing, which Music on Vinyl does phenomenal pressings, but they're from overseas, so it does take a minute to get here. So it got here quite a bit later than it said it was going to. I bought mine through Barnes & Noble, but it's this really deep, I don't even know if you can tell what color it is. It's a deep forest green on here. Is the color of the pressing. This album there are very few albums that have such a specific moment of time connected to them. Like when I think of this album, I think of riding with my friend Rob in his Mercury Capri convertible that he got when we were in high school, the summer between sophomore and junior year, listening to this album over and over again. And songs like Superhero Girl and Open Road Song are songs that will always remind me of that specific summer and the years after with my best friend, who's still my best friend, although he lives much further away, enjoying music. So I'm so glad to have this on vinyl. And this if I decide one day to sell all my vinyl, this will be one of the ones that either doesn't go or goes last. But I don't plan on selling all my vinyl. But yeah, so very excited to have that. This next one was a Record Store Day album at the most recent Record Store Day. It was my number one desire to get it, and I could not. My store only got one copy of it. It sold before I got there, even though I was in line when they opened. I was, probably 30 or 40 back. But I was glad to find it on Discogs later for actually, I think cheaper than I could have gotten it at Record Store Day. So I picked this up, bought this from a record store in Houston. Forget the name of the record store. But this is Corinne Bailey Rae live in New York. When I worked at Starbucks, we sold Corinne Bailey Rae's first album, her solo album, and we sold this, which was a CD DVD combo, and the CD I think was live in New York, or was live in London, and the DVD was live in New York. So this is what would be on the DVD part, and it's, or maybe I've got that backwards, I forget, but either way, it's a very pretty kind of purple, marbly, purple with white splatter. I don't know what they call it. Limited purple marbled edition. There we go. That's what it is. So this is mostly just the music from her same first album, but performed live. And it's also got this, and this is the number one reason I wanted this album. She does a cover of Since I've Been Loving You by Led Zeppelin that is absolutely gorgeous, and I wanted to have a copy of that. So that is Corinne Bailey Rae live in New York. So I picked that up for myself. And then the last one, this is also a pre-order, and this is one, man, this has been repressed a couple times, and I've missed it. It just was not good timing. I didn't have the money to buy it at the time that it became repressed. But I was like, I gotta get it, man. I gotta get it. And so when I found out it was getting pressed again, I immediately ordered it. And that is Something Corporate, Leaving Through the Window. This album, oh my gosh, this album. First of all, this is the same color pressing as the 2023 repress, which is, let's see if I can get this out of here. Not very smoothly. It is a transparent, clear with white splatter. But this album has so many hits on it. It's got Punk Rock Princess, I Woke Up in a Car, If You See Jordan, and that's 3 tracks that are literally on side A. But there's so many good songs on here. I Woke Up in a Car is one of my all-time favorite songs by any band ever. It's got some of the best lyrics of any song that have ever been written. So I'm so glad to have a copy of this album. This is another one of those I've been wanting forever on vinyl, and I will definitely never ever sell. But I'm so glad to have a copy of this. So that's it for my record collection this month. I picked up, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 8 records. Out of those 8 records, 3 of them were birthday gifts. 2 of the, well, really I pre-ordered 4 of them, but one of them was a pre-order that kind of arrived later. And a couple of these were grails. I mean, these were things I'd been eagerly anticipating and wanting for a long time. So this was a really great month for my record collection. Next month, there's a bunch of records I want, but there's also so many other things that I want and need to do that I don't know what next month's going to look like yet, if I'm going to end up getting anywhere near the records that I want for the month of June. But there are so many good ones. In fact, just to throw this out here, let me tell you some of the records that I'm wanting that are coming out in June. And we'll see if I get them. We'll see if we'll be able to check this video to the next to see if I get them. So one record I did want in May that I did not get that I'd like to shout out is Jack Johnson's Surf Film Music. It is a soundtrack to a documentary coming out, and it's a mix of there's Jack Johnson music with Hermanos Gutierrez, which they're amazing, and then there's also some 4-track demos at the end of the album as well, or kind of mixed into the album as well. Another album that technically came out May 22nd on Interscope Records website that I did not pick up was Whiskey Town Pneumonia. Now that comes out in stores on June 12th, and I am hoping to buy that as well. We'll see. Whiskey Town, Ryan Adams, some of my favorite music of all time, but we'll see. One album I'm for sure getting is June 5th. Death Cab for Cutie has a new album out called I Built You a Tower. Can't wait for it. Love the tracks out already. June 12th, Big D and the Kids Table has an album called Good Old American Saturday Night. So I interviewed Dave on my podcast. If you haven't watched that, I encourage you to go back and listen to it, watch it. And he's such a nice guy, such an interesting guy. And so I'd love to get a copy of his album. Olivia Rodrigo has her new album coming out, You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love. I do really enjoy Olivia Rodrigo, and my daughter loves her. And so, of course, I would love to get that album to play with my daughter. June 12th, Ryan Adams has, another Ryan Adams album. Ryan Adams has an album that has previously only been available like in bootleg format. It's never been officially released in any capacity, but it is the Suicide Handbook. This came out kind of near his earliest albums, and I would love to get a copy of that as well. June 26th, there's a brand new Switchfoot album called Forever Now. I love Switchfoot. I love those guys and kind of who they are as people, but I also love their music, so I would love to pick that album up. June 26th, Stan Getz has an album being repressed called Big Band Bossa Nova, which is the same name as this Quincy Jones album I got, but I would love to pick up this Stan Getz album as well. And then as far as I know, once I get into July, I don't have as many. I've got like 2 albums. I've only got really 1, 2, 3, 4 more albums that I've officially like put down as wanting for the rest of the year right now, but I do have another like about 10 albums that I've been kind of keeping an eye out for. So that's what I'm hoping to get, but I'm so pleased with what I got in May. We'll see what I get in June. It's going to be a great summer, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please like, comment, subscribe on this video. Share with your friends. I'd like to make the Rudie Librarian sort of pick up again at the pace that it was when I was doing my best. So help motivate me by liking this.